Good morning, Miss Jen and friends. My name is Kevin, and I'm going to be talking to you today about free medical care. It's a fundamental right of all citizens in every country. Now, let's begin the speech with the definition of fundamental right is all the rights a human should be born with. In fact, they signed a Declaration of Fundamental Rights known as Human Rights back in the 1900s, which is like, if I'm not mistaken, it's 1930s to 1949. I think it's those years that they signed like a declaration that involves the human rights. So one of the human rights written there is the right to live. Now, if we dig deeper into the word, into like living, we know that health is one of them. One of the things we need to live is health. So now, why is the right to live a human's right, but freedom, free medical care isn't? Even though for us to have the right to, for us even to survive living, we should have medical care. But some people in this world literally has to choose between death, DEATH, or debt, DEBT. Now, no one has to do that. No one has to choose between death or that. It is such a crazy thing to think about. Why? You want to be dead, but like you want to survive, but you don't want to suffer people because like if you survive, well, you have debt, and that will influence your family. Even though probably even if you're dead, you're probably still getting your family's debt anyway. But at least they won't have the burden to carry with you. At least they won't feel burdened by you burdening yourself because of you burdening them. Now, let's dig deeper. What if during a treatment that should have protected you from the medical care, should have protected you from the disease, something went wrong and you have to get amputated. Yeah, you have to get your foot amputated. Now, problem with that is you're gonna cause more problems. Not like problems, like you're gonna disturb your friend's life, and that is also expensive. Or not only that, but to buy a wheelchair or whatever, that's expensive. And well, you've got to do that. You want to live, but yeah, in like cases like today, especially when it's a global pandemic with high rising numbers with like over 120 cases in Indonesia alone. No, 124,000 cases in Indonesia alone by like I don't know what date. But with those cases rising, it's such it's such a burden in mind to think that should I go to the hospital even though it's expensive or whatever. People are afraid of getting tested. An American actor, or for some reason, paid $9,000 or at $900 to get checked. He didn't even get the results to him. It was like, oh, we can't do that. It's like too long. But he already paid. He didn't get the results. So it doesn't only burden like people from the lower class, it also burdens the people from the higher class. Well, maybe for people in the higher class, it's like, yeah, it's just like a feeling empathy or yeah, empathy for the people who are in the lower classes of life. But for the people in lower classes, they got to choose between do they want to live with that, or they could just bye bye everyone. Well, those are cases like where human rights, the right to live, supports the fundamental right of free medical care. Because without free medical care, there won't be a step to free the freedom of life, the right to live. Now, putting all that aside, on the contrary, not all countries signed the Human Rights Declaration of the UN. In fact, the UN does not even Like I don't know, there's some countries are not approved by the United Nations, so those countries probably will still do not have it. But let's say a small country, like not even third world country below the third world line, maybe like those living in the desert or I don't know, like I don't dare say country's name, but it's like the lower people like there aren't enough doctors, enough nurses, enough facilities to build up. So the only way to think about it is that maybe they could make it affordable. Not only that, not only for the people in like lower classes, but middle class people like in Jakarta, for example, they have the government should like the government gave medical care. It's not free, but it's at least it's affordable for us. So when you dig back, you can think that there are three levels, like free, three steps to free medical care. First step is the first step is what most countries are experiencing. They still need to pay. Second step, they go on to put into affordable healthcare. Then slowly but not, it will go to free healthcare. Why? Because some countries' problem is that free medical care could have like really high expenses and like take a big chunk of budget out of the countries. Like maybe some countries are focusing on military, or some countries are focusing on other things. So yeah, the three steps probably won't work, and slowly and slowly those poor countries will rise and hopefully become third world countries. They can give uh, affordable healthcare, and then slowly but not with the support of the country, with the support of the citizens, they can probably make it free healthcare, and that's why UNICEF is there to help those countries who are in need, because the government can't help them. Well, with that in conclusion, I can say that I support the statement that free medical care is a fundamental right for humans. But under many circumstances, the government probably could not afford and well pour to the people when the government could not afford. That's sad. The government should try their best, though, at least. Thank you.